Let's talk a little bit about the different stamp pads that you can use for heat embossing. So these are the different types of pads that Stampin' Up! Carries currently. And we have a StazOn Jet Black and we have a Tuxedo Black. Those are the two blacks that we have. And we have predominantly a large number of the classic Stampin' pads. And I'm just going to open this one up to show you. So when you open it up, you just open it like a compact and then it slides closed. And it has a little bit of a foam base here, which is where all of your color is, and that's the surface that you're going to put your stamp into. Now this type of ink is called a dye-based ink, meaning that it's going to dry really, really quickly. It has high color, high pigmentation in it, but it doesn't have a lot of liquid that is sticky enough for your embossing powder to stick to. There are ways that you can emboss on top of the classic Stampin' Pad colors, but it will not be covered in this class. Your StazOn ink as well is going to dry very, very quickly. So it has, pull it off here, it has even a fabric cover on it. And it's one, this is an alcohol-based ink. And it actually has quite a smell and odor to it. And so you are not going to be able to emboss on top of this ink. It just dries too quickly. Because it's got solvent and alcohol in it, it evaporates really quickly. Your Memento pad also has a fabric-based pad. It's not foam-based, and it's also going to be one that dries very quickly. So we use this one for watercolor and for just plain black stamping, but it's going to act an awful lot like our classic Stampin' Pads in it's a dye-based pad. So these pads not recommended for heat embossing. Versamark most definitely recommended for heat embossing. So this is one that's pretty new. It's nice and clear, got a little bit of black on there. It is a pad that has a type of ink in it that's really fairly sticky and viscous. So it's not really, it's not like water. It's actually much stickier than that. And so when you put your stamp in there, you're picking up a little bit of that different type of liquid, and you're going to stamp that. And it takes a while to dry. In fact, if you weren't to put embossing powder on it, it will dry, but it will dry much slower than our classic based. It is fantastic for heat embossing. The other one that works really well for heat embossing is a craft stamp pad, and I'll open this one up. It also has a foam base to it, and so you can see that this one's getting a little bit dirty too. I've had this quite a while, but you maybe even can see that the ink sitting on the side has a little bit more shine to it, and this is quite a wet stamp pad as well. And you'll be able to hear that when you stamp into it, that it gives almost a little bit of a squishing kind of noise. So these ones are wet, they'll work really well, and they won't dry really quickly. And so you can stamp with these, and then you can sprinkle on your embossing powder. So let's get started with our projects.